I want to welcome everybody to our October Education Night. It is October the 23rd, 2025. This is our last education night for the year of 2025. So, yay. Anyway, just a few announcements. Obviously our last assignment is next month for November. It is light painting. So, if you want to review the light painting presentation that we had last month, please, hopefully, if you don't have the link, let me know, because that was just for members only, so it's not on the website. If you need it, let me know, and I will send it to you. The board is working on the assignments for next year. As soon as we have those, we've decided on the 11 that we're going to use. We just got to arrange them in the right months, and then Jim's got to do the descriptions for them. Then we'll get them published, and I'll let you know. I'll send out an email when they're ready for everybody to see. Obviously, this is our last education night, so we won't have any more this year because we only have one meeting in November because of Thanksgiving. And I'm working on speakers for next year. So if you have any suggestions, send me an email and let me know. We have our biannual election tonight. I wish more people were here, but I guess it's not enough information. But anyway, I don't know if there's anybody are there any nominations from the floor? I have to ask this for any position. Nope. Okay, so I have to show this. Can you see the poll?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So everybody go ahead and vote.
We can click on it.
Just click on it. You can just vote for each. I think you can vote for each one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can.
Okay. This is a technicality. I have to do this. Yeah, all the same people are on the board have decided to stick with us. So I thank you for that.
Aren't you all going to do campaign speeches?
No campaign speeches. We don't have time for that tonight. Politics. So yeah, just go ahead and vote, and I'll give you another minute.
Did you see all that snow that Denver's getting, Lynn?
I bet. Yeah, I'm sure. Robert's freezing his butt off.
Yep. they got a lot of snow.
Yeah, Robert's in Colorado Springs.
Oh, wow.
All right. I think everybody voted. Got one more person. Vote. Please vote if you haven't voted. One more minute or 30 seconds. All right. Voting's over with. The board remains as it is, as listed. So there's the results. Anyway, all right. Thank you so much. And I want to thank the board for all that they've done for the last year or last 2 years. And I look forward to working with you for the next 2 years. Yay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. We will just to remind everybody, we have our annual holiday and awards dinner and party on December the 7th, which is a Sunday. It will be at Felipe Park and in Safety Harbor at 1 o'clock on the Sunday afternoon. We will be sending out I'll be publishing the details along with a food sign-up sheet on the website later in November, and I will let everybody know when that's been published so you can sign up. For those who have not been to that before, we get a big pavilion in Felipe Park. We started this during the pandemic or at the end of the pandemic-ish, and we liked it so much that we can continue to do it. It's a beautiful pavilion in a beautiful park. If you've never been to Felipe Park, it's right on the bay, and there's no power there, but we do have big grills we can grill on. We have extra extra tables, and this group is known for its good food. So, and we have we have a lot of good fellowship while we're there. We have some raffles. We may have a money making thing for the club. We'll see. We haven't decided on that yet. But and then we give out the annual awards for the based on the scores from our exhibit comment nights.
We're going to hang prints again as well.
And we will be hanging prints. Yeah, we do have, we used to call it the push pin, but now it's like the hanging pin. The hanging pins. Yeah, we used to stick them in
House
a
of
ball
clothespin.
at Robert's studio. We can't do that anymore. So we actually hang them up on a clothesline. And basically, it's a print that we have not seen in competition. And it has to have a story. So this is not one we judge. It is you hang up the print and you talk about it. So there should be a story involved with the particular print that you bring. So we always have a lot of fun with that because it's interesting to see, we never get to really hear the story behind most images. And so I try to find something that's either educational or has a cool story behind it. So all this stuff will be in the details that we send out in November. Any questions about any of that? Okay. Robert's not going to be here tonight because he's doing he actually had a last minute job come up. So while how he managed to do that in Denver, I'm not sure, but he did. So but anyway, Jim, do you have anything to add, any comments or things you need to add?
Not right now.
Okay.
All good.
All right. All right, so for those that are new to this member takeover thing, we started this last year, and it's based on something I did with the Out of Chicago group. They have their annual live summit, which is a 3 or 4 day thing that they do in February. And on the last night, they have what they call the attendee takeover, and they have 10 to 12 people talk for 7 minutes. And it's really one of the more popular, more people attend that. Obviously, it's the only thing going on. The rest of the time, they have 5 or 6 or 10 different things going on at the same time, so it's hard to see everything. But they set this aside for everybody to attend it, and it's really cool because you get a lot of information in a short amount of time. And it's really interesting to hear. And it's all amateurs. It's not the pros that are doing the teaching at the summit. And so Tony Baldessaro, who did our class a few months ago on post-processing bird photography, he was the guy that came up with the idea for Out of Chicago. He now runs it. And so I did it 2 years ago in 2024. And so it was a lot of fun. It was nerve-wracking as hell, but I decided it's not that hard. Once you figure out how to do it properly, it's not that hard. So we decided to do this last year, give it a try. We had 5 or 6 people do it last year. And so we've got 5 people. Robert was supposed to do one tonight, but he obviously is not here. So there's only 5 of us. But I want to thank Roy, Deborah, Lee, and Jim, and myself for taking the time to come up with something to talk about, to share with everybody. So, and it's basically short and sweet, something that has to do with photography. It could be anything as long as it was photography related. So I'm going to go ahead and start it out. And what am I going to do first? Before I forget, I'm going to make each one of you other people a co-host so you can join in when it's your turn.
Did you need to do the Peer and Beer video?
Pardon?
Were you doing the Peer and Beer video?
Oh, I didn't finish it.
Oh, okay.
I got sidetracked and didn't finish it, so I'll share it next. Either I'll just send it out to everybody and put it on the website, and everybody can see it, or I will. What is this thing telling me? Or I will show it next month. I didn't get pictures from everybody yet. I only got pictures from 5 people, and I know there were more people at that thing than that. So if you didn't send me pictures for Peer and Beer, please send them to me. Where is everybody here? Come on, Jim. Richard, Sylvia, Victoria, Diana, Lee. Oh boy. Okay, all my co-hosts, did I send you? Did you all get co-hosting requests? Yes, no? Okay. Deborah, I sent you one. Yeah, you should be able to, you're a co-host, so now you can, let's see, Roy needs to, let's see, Roy needs to accept it. Roy has. Lee.
I don't see anything to accept.
Oh, you
Yeah,
already
I
did
will.
because it says you're a co-host. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3,
I willed it.
4. Jim.
I
The
didn't
only
get
other one.
anything yet.
Okay, there it is. You got it.
Okay.
Did I get
It's
it?
yours. Okay, I think I got everybody now. Yep. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and start. Okay. Take a breath. Okay. All right. Can you see my thing?
Yes.
We can.
All right. Let me get into the right place here. All right. Can you see? That won't work. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Is there a zoomy thing in the middle of it?
A zoomy thing?
Yeah, I got it out of the way. Okay.
We're seeing your presentation mode, Lynn. So we see the slide as well as the
Okay.
like next slide and
Oh,
the
that.
there we go.
There you go.
I got it.
There we are. Now
All
it's
right.
full screen.
I got two different things here going on. Okay. I was hoping I could switch it that way so that I could get it, but that's because Zoom is on this monitor and not that monitor. All right, we'll make it work. Anyway, our still life and our food photography assignments got me thinking about something to do at home. And I set up, so I wanted to set up a project in my house that I could do still lifes with. And then with the Florida humidity and high temperatures this summer, I decided this was really, something I was going to just put up and take down. I actually left it up for a couple of months because then I could take all different kinds of images, whenever I wanted to, because I had it sitting over to the side out of the way. So I'm going to, so I wanted to share with you my still life for an indoor photo life project. So anyway, next slide. Here are a few of the many images I created in this ongoing project. This is a table level straight on shot. This is from about eye level. This one is just above table level. And then just don't go with color. Don't forget you can put things, change things into black and white, make them really high contrast, make them interesting. And there's a lot of different ways to post process still lifes. This wine bottle was actually corked, and there was nothing. I didn't want to open this bottle because it's an expensive bottle of wine. And I didn't have any wine in my glass, so AI helped me with this one. I took it over into Photoshop, used generative fill, and got rid of the cork at the top and filled up the glass with wine. And it was like, I could not believe how good of a job it did. Just something as simple as 3 cherries can make an interesting still life. And then not a leftover. I go to my favorite sushi place and I get takeout probably once or twice a month. And so I decided I would take pictures of my sushi before I ate it. So this is a sushi, sashimi. I don't know if it's sashimi. This is actually sushi. Then don't forget about the stuff that's in your house. This is a little piece of pottery that I picked up somewhere, probably in New Mexico. And then fresh flowers add a bit of color and freshness to your still life image. And blueberries are one of my favorite subjects. I'm about to try figs because figs are kind of blue and red at the same time when you open them up. So, but blueberries are, if you look at still lifes in a lot of paintings and stuff, they use blueberries a lot, but I think it's because of the color.
You think it's because of the color?
I think it's the color and blueberries. Everybody likes blueberries. So,
Yeah.
And then don't forget, when you're making dinner, this is kind of channeling our buddy Alan Shapiro, who loves to take pictures of food before he makes dinner. Is take your dinner.
Wasn't in custody and he was not in a police station.
Somebody needs to
Voluntarily agreed to speak with the
turn off their muting. I think it's neon. Anyway, yeah. While you're making dinner, don't forget to take pictures of your while you're prepping your dinner. I just love this purple onion. It's gorgeous. And it's got all that color and all that texture. And so I decided to take a picture of the onions. Okay, so I lost my place here. All right. Here's the behind the scenes. This is one of my first setups that I tried, and it was over on my dining room table with some light coming in from the left-hand side from the window that is over there into the carport, which isn't a lot of light. So this is kind of dark. But don't worry about when you take the picture, you can have all this extra stuff around the outside here. That's not a problem because once you can either crop it, or if you don't have enough space on the edges, you can add some of the edge, more of this in Photoshop without too much problem with generative expand. So don't worry about what's on the edges because you can always fix that. But I wanted to show you another thing is I'm using two different, in this particular instance, I'm using two different sheets. One, one is dark on the bottom and then there's wood one on the bottom, on the side. Here's another example of the behind the scenes where this one is actually over on the table that I was doing this. So actually, this one is on the dining room table too. So this one was, again, I think I had a little bit more light coming in from the window to the left. But this was fresh flowers and a piece of sculpture that I have in my house. So don't forget about the cool things we have around our houses that we can use for stuff. And this is one of the smaller backgrounds. And this one I like because it looks almost like a real wall. And again, I used two different sheets to make it look like an actual room.
Lynn, where did you get your backgrounds?
I will give you all that information later.
Okay.
Okay, this was the setup that I put up and I left standing for 3 months. This is the table you guys see me bring to our Christmas party and to camping. It's relatively small. It's about 3 feet tall and about 2.5 feet wide, all folded up. But it unfolds very easily, and it's not too terribly tall. So it's at a good level, and then but it's long. It's about almost 5 feet long. So it gives you some depth, and that's helpful when you're doing this. Here are some of the backgrounds that I purchased. These are the larger ones. They are this really thick paper, not super thick, but thick. They're two-sided, so there's a different texture look on each side. The way they were printed, they look like they actually have texture when you shoot them. So I think it's really cool. And these are 24 by 34 inches. They're much bigger than the ones I just showed you for the behind the scenes. I didn't like those because I couldn't put anything big around on those, without having a lot of dealing with all that extra stuff on the sides. These are much longer, so you have a more drawn out kind of, you can make a U shape. And then let me show you the next picture. This is one of the sets, or some of the sets come with this hanger. And this thing actually telescopes up or down. And so you can, if you've got something that's pretty tall, you can stretch it up so you have more background behind it, or you can put it down and if you don't need it, if you're shooting straight down or something like that with it. But the other thing you can do is also take one sheet and make that the back wall, and then take another sheet and bring this all the way up to the little stand so that it looks almost like a flat wall, and then put the other one right up against it. So you've got, again, two different sheets at two different angles, at 45-degree angles, so that, not 45, 90-degree angles, so that you've got you got a wall, and then you've got a table or a shelf surface. When I shoot these, I use focus stacking or focus shifting, depending on your camera. I'm a Nikon, so this is called focus shift shooting. And it is usually a menu item in the shooting or the photo shooting menu. And basically what you do is you set it up to shoot X number of shots at a focused step width, and then I usually don't have an interval. I just wanted to shoot blah, 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 blah. There's a bunch of different settings in here. I'm not going to go into all that. We don't have enough time. But basically what you do with focus shifting is you start the very first focus at the very front, the thing that is the closest to your camera. And then you let it automatically go back. And I'm sorry, Sony people, it doesn't do this for you, but you can do it manually. You just have to turn the focus ring. But the cameras that do it automatically can do it in less than 30 seconds. So it goes click, 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 and it's basically moving the focus further back in your picture. And then, so you end up with, however many. In this particular one, I had 9. And the number of shots that you need to take and the width of the focus step is really dependent on your camera, the lens, and the subject matter. So if you've got something that's fairly deep, you need a lot of shots. If you've got something that's relatively shallow in terms of distance from the front of the camera, then you don't need as many shots, but it takes some experimenting. What I usually do when I set these up is I set my camera to collect things in a folder. So each time I shoot a set, it puts it in its own little folder, so I don't have to figure out where they are in Lightroom. I also bring them into Lightroom as individual folders. There's actually a setting in Lightroom when you bring them in there that says, can you leave them all out, spread out all over the place, or you can bring them in their individual folders, and that's what I do. And that way I can quickly pull up the set. Here's a setup that I'm using.
Is that a tripod?
That is a tripod. And I don't know if you
How
can
is-
see me, but this is I'm going to put this it'll be on the end. It'll also be, I'll put it in the chat. You can't see it. This is a Vanguard tripod with an articulating arm on it. And it's a pain in the neck. It's heavy. It's not really good for carrying around, but it's great for this kind of stuff or for macros where you're not, walking a million miles. Because it has the arm, you could take this little thing here, rotates up, and you stick the arm, it's the center arm. You take the center arm out, rotate that thing over, and stick it through there. You have to obviously you have to put a weight on the backside so that it doesn't tip over. But in this particular picture here, this camera is, it's way out away from the tripod, but I've got it weighted down with I think my camera bag was on there. So, but yeah, that's what you've got to do. But this thing works great. There's also a Architect ball head. If you looked at this, I don't know if it's a better picture over here, you can see that it has a big turning radius. A lot of the ball heads, you're kind of limited and you usually can go down in one direction because there's a notch in the ball head, but this ball head is almost all open, so you can actually turn it in every different direction without nothing getting in its way, unless you go like way beyond straight down. So if you went like this, yeah, you would have an issue, but as long as you're shooting straight down, it's not going to get in your way, which a lot of ball heads do that. Then once I have the images in the little folders in Lightroom, we talked about this a little bit at one of Jim's potluck dinners. I use Helicon Focus, which is an application that is specifically made for stacking, focus stacking. It's for focus stacking, basically. And what it does is I just take all the shots, raw shots out of Lightroom from that folder, pull it over on top of this application. It opens up, and as you can see here, this is just a screenshot, but it's listing all the different shots that I took. And then it has these different choices down here. Again, another whole session, so I can't go into it. But you experiment with these and see which works the best for you. I like pyramid. Oops. I like pyramid, and basically it creates a depth map, and that's what you're seeing right here. This is probably the last image in the group. And this is, because you can see it's kind of blurry on the front here, more focused in the back. And this is a depth map that it's created. And then it renders, you tell it to, you save the image, and it takes it right back into Lightroom, where you process it normally, and that's not the same picture, but you end up with something like this. So does anybody have any questions?
Can you not just use a regular tripod?
You can, but it's just really hard to get over the top of the table. I mean, if you're shooting straight on, yeah, no problem. But if you want to do top down shots, or, you know, an angle and you've got it far away, you want it far away to have some distance between you and the camera, yeah, you're going to need, you know, the articulated arm helps a lot.
What do you usually use to light your still life
I am
pictures with?
using my window in my living room. Basically, since the last hurricane last year, my big beautiful oak tree blew down in my front yard, so I have all this light coming in my house that I never had before. And so I kind of took advantage of that. If it was dark, if it was overcast, then I would use some of that LED lighting that Jim talked about, some similar to what he was talking about at his class a few weeks ago. But it's basically any kind of LED light. I like the window though because it's a lot softer, and because there's sheer draperies on it. It's like a giant softbox. I just wish I could get a little closer, but there's too much stuff in my living room. I can't get any closer to it. So, but
You
yeah, I
ever
primarily use light for the window. Yeah.
You ever use a reflector or like a white?
I've tried using the reflector. I don't have enough light in here to use that, because I don't want to use any, you know, like the lamps or the overhead light on my fan that's in my ceiling fan or anything like that, because it's just the wrong color and it makes it too shadowy. So
I mean, reflecting the window light from the other
I've tried
side.
it, just not enough light coming through it. It's just really, because I have to, the sun is coming at an angle, obviously, to come in my front window from the east side, and it's coming over the tree. So it's usually around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock right now. And that comes in, and I try to reflect some. I've used a block on the right-hand side, because I have you may have seen in one of the images of the antique glass that's in the case that's next to the table, that would reflect onto my subject. So I would actually put a piece of white cardboard there. So that did reflect back a little light, but I wanted some depth. I didn't want a lot of light going on to the backside of it, because I wanted some depth in what I was shooting. So
Lynn, I just checked the chat and I don't see any links.
giving me a minute. I'm trying to answer questions. I can't do two things.
Okay. No, I just thought I was
okay. Let me get, here is actually the list right here. But once I get onto this, I can actually put the active shots in there. Any more questions?
Did you try the Photoshop version of focus stacking?
Yes, I forgot to mention that. You can do it in Photoshop. It's not as easy. I mean, this is, you drag it over, you click a button, and it's done. And there's a link here for Elecon Focus as well. So I've basically given you the links for, and like I said, I'll put the active links in the chat in a minute. The Vanguard tripod, the Architect ball head, the large paper. Now the large paper at Amazon, I just gave you the link to one of them, but if you go in there, you'll see that there are other varieties. So look and see, you know, if you're interested in doing this, look and see what different varieties there are. The small paperback, the small ones also come with a holder, like you saw in my behind the scenes. And those, like I said, they're only really good for smaller items. Helicon Focus. And then if you want to see more of my still lifes, you can go to my gallery and on my website, and there's a bunch of them there beyond what I just showed you. So.
And this will be when the recorded thing, right? Once you
yes. Okay.
So that's really helpful, Lynn. This is really good. You know,
it's something, you know, if you're homebound for whatever reason, it's too hot, it's too cold, it's too rainy, you're homebound because you're sick, or you just can't get out there anymore, which we're all going to be there eventually. This is just something to do that, you know, it's easy to do. It's quick. It's easy. I mean, I bought a few wooden dishes and, you know, a couple of things to use as props. And so it's relatively inexpensive to it's stuff you can actually use in your house. So why not, you know? So,
Mm.
and let me go ahead and get that while I'm here. Let me put this in the chat so you can see it.
I have one question when you're done with that, Lynn.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I noticed when you were taking picture down towards the blueberries, you had a hood on your lens. Was that intentional?
When I had what?
You had a hood on your lens.
Yeah, because I was trying to keep the light from, because I'm shooting with the light coming in from the side. I was trying to
Okay.
keep some of the light from also reflecting off the glass that was in my, my antique glass case that was right next to it. So you don't have to have that. I just did it because I've got too much light bouncing around in my room. So
Oh, okay.
They're also good to have on there just for safety in case you
Yeah.
drop the camera or bang it into something.
Right.
You hit
True.
the plastic instead of the glass.
I have seen so many people walk around. I was somewhere recently shooting with, when we were in Greece, and I'm like, these people are walking around with these, $4,000 cameras with no lens hoods, and I'm like, what
Oh,
the
yeah.
heck? You're
Some
crazy.
people are crazy.
I'm just a klutz, and I need all the protection. If they had, what are the things that you put on your phone? The protections for your phone, I would put it on my camera. Have rubber bumpers on it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, this is really good, Lynn. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Appreciate it.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes, thank you. That was good.
All right. Next up is Roy.
I'm here.
Okay, Roy, do you know how to share?
I will.
Okay. You need to hit the share button and then make sure your screen comes up for us to see.
So does everybody see this?
No.
Nope, not yet.
Uh,
You need to
Okay.
click on, when the share, the big screen comes up about sharing, you need to click on one of the screens that it's showing
oh, okay.
and then say share. There we go. Now we see it.
Okay.
Go for it.
How's that?
Yeah, we can see it. You need to want to go make it go full page.
I'm sorry.
There we go.
There you
Perfect.
go.
Am I good?
Yeah.
We're good. Go for it.
Okay. Well, I'm sharing my trip that my wife Sonia and I made in August to Alaska. And it was quite an opportunity for photography. We went to Wrangell Island. We went there by Alaska Air. It took us 2 days to get there. We had to stop in Ketchikan overnight. And a map here kind of tells you where we are in Wrangell. It's a large island. I brought my Z7 and my Z8 with these lenses with me. We took 5 different charters with one company there. They went in different places. And this is a photograph on a glacial river en route to a glacier. And this was almost typical of the scenery that I saw on the way up there. As we got to the glacier, there were harbor seals on most of the icebergs up there. And it was very interesting. I'm glad I had my 800 lens though, because if we got anywhere near close to them, they would leave the iceberg and go into the water. The icebergs, as we got close to the glacier, were really wind and water molded into real sculptures, and thought that was it was really, really interesting. I'm holding some of those back for abstract photos later on. And then, as you can see on the right, our captain went out with his hatchet and knocked off a couple of pieces of ice and made us some whiskey and ice drinks
Oh, wow.
with some million-year-old ice. So that was kind of a nice surprise. This is the glacier itself. We took jet boats up there, which were about 20-foot boats, aluminum. They're all made in Wrangell, and they're jet boats so that they can push all through all these icebergs right up to the glacier. and it was getting ready to rain. So this photo had a really good cloud shielding the mountains, which I thought made a pretty good photograph. We went one day out photographing whales, humpback whales. We'd see the spouts a long way away. This guy he came up pretty close to the boat. They're around 40 tons and they grow up to 56 feet long. So they're huge animals. You can see that it's fairly close to the shore, indicative of the steep mountain terrain that goes down into the water. So I think we were about 90 feet of water right here. This photo is actually one my wife took on her smartphone. So these whales, humpback whales, will find herring schools, and they'll go down near the bottom of the ocean, 90 feet down in this case. They'll go around in circles and make a big bubble ring. And that makes a curtain all around the small fish schools up on top. And then a few of them will climb vertically up through the water column with their mouths open, breaking the surface and grabbing all the small fish. We stopped by Petersburg, Alaska, which is another small island and small island town. And the marker buoy on the way into the harbor was had a bunch of sea lions there. And there was a couple of sea lions who were just sitting in the water there, waiting for a little bit of room to get some sun. We did see one sea otter. Most of the animals that we saw there were looking back at us to see what we were up to. It's very sparsely populated up there. We saw boats while we were going around in the intercoastal up there, but not very many. And so this guy was interested in us, and he's got a sea urchin down there that he's getting ready to snack on.
Roy, were these with an 800?
These were with 800 millimeter lens, yes.
All of these?
So far, I think, yes, they
Wow.
were 800, my 800 lens.
Oh,
This one, however, was with a 2 to 500 lens with my Z7, and I'll show you the observation tower in a few minutes. But we went to a preserve where they built a observation tower, and I'll show that to you in a minute. But the black bears were fattening up for winter there, and we're grabbing these pink salmon out of the river. This guy was, well, he filled the frame with a 200 millimeter lens. Let's put it that way. That's how close he was. This is hardly cropped at all.
wow.
This guy was, the bears, there's so many salmon there, they get really picky, and their choice meat is the skin and the head. And so they'll pull the skin off and eat the head and then go catch another one. So there's salmon everywhere. This is not my photo, but it shows this observatory's been around for 3 or 4 years. And on the right side here, this is all, now it's all got a canvas cover over it all the way up to this top stairwell. So the bears can't see it coming down, and there's 18 by 18 inch holes cut in there so you can see the bears, which were feeding right over here on these rocks. The bears would even come underneath and feed underneath here, and you'd be standing here, and it was like less than an inch to the bear's back there. But the other cool thing is they allow 60 people to go there a day. We happened to go on a day where there was only about 15 of us.
Oh,
You
wow.
normally rotate 7 minutes down on the bottom tier down there, and then other people come up. But there was never 7 people down there, so I spent 2.5 hours straight down there until I ran out of battery and bladder room. The couple bears had cubs there. You can see this bear was actively nursing. The this mother was one of the bears you saw previously catching the salmon. Well, one of these cubs went down there and he was trying to imitate his mother, and he'd swipe with his claws through the water when a salmon came up, and then he'd stare at his paw and wonder, where did that salmon go? So he was never successful in bringing up a salmon while I was there.
Fish.
This is a picture of a bald eagle and a raven about 100 yards down the creek. So the other pictures, I was using my 2 to 500 lens. I was back to my 800 lens here because this was like I said 100 yards, and it was in a deep shadow. So I only show this one, not as a good photograph, but showing the bald eagle pulling the salmon that was killed by one of the bears up out of the water. This area is the only place where you have black bears, which I showed earlier, that coexist with grizzly bears. And this guy was next to the eagle downstream, and they're considerably larger than the black bears. And he never really got close, and it was kind of interesting. The black bears caught their fish by swiping with their paws. The grizzly bears waded out into the water and grabbed the fish with their jaws. We did spend a day driving around Wrangell Island. It's just beautiful landscapes everywhere. And you can't go to Alaska without fishing. This again, the captain took this with a cell phone, and that's a 40-pound halibut. We were fishing all day. I caught a couple salmon, but I wanted a big halibut. And we had to leave at 4 o'clock because he had to get back. The fuel docks at Wrangell closed at 5. And so I thought I was done for the day. And 5 minutes before we came back, I hooked onto this halibut. And Alaskan Airlines, they have freezers at all the airports they service. So I was able to bring back 35 pounds of fish fillets from the trip. And that's it.
Roy, did you use one outfitter for the whole trip, or?
I used I used one outfitter for 5 days. He had 5 different trips, and but he's interestingly enough, he didn't have any photography trips. So, but there was only like 4 or 6 people on the boats, and he's going to only do photography trips next year. So you might need to Google Wrangell and see who's doing charters up there.
Can you put the name on the chat?
I'm sorry?
Can you put the name on the chat?
Yeah, well, I can, but they're not going to be doing these charters. So there's only a couple of them in Wrangell. So if you just Google Wrangell, you'll find out. If you Google Wrangell, be sure you get the Wrangell Island with 2 L's, because there's a Wrangell Island with 1 L.
Yeah.
Which is actually in the Arctic Ocean above Russia. And it's well known. A friend of mine, my cousin, actually saw my pictures and said, well, did you know that the island you were at was the last area where there were these ancient elephants? They're the mammoths. And I said, well, I'm surprised, because I thought if they were the last 1,000 years the mammoths were alive, that they would say something about it while I was there. Well, turns out it's a separate island, probably in Russia. And probably it was the same explorer, Wrangell, that found them, except one of them dropped the L.
So you went to the Wrangell Island. Did you go to the Wrangell St. Elias? Is that where you went?
I'm sorry?
Did you go to I just looked it up. Did you go to the Wrangell St. Elias part?
I don't know what that is. Probably, I guess not.
It says Wrangell St. Elias National Park.
Oh, well, that's that whole area there.
Okay.
Hey, Roy, you mentioned how far were you offshore when you said that water was 90 feet deep?
Well, you saw that
It seemed like you were awful close.
yes, I was. They were probably less than 100 yards from shore. That's how steep the mountains are there.
Any other questions?
No, these are really great
Well,
shots.
really good pictures, Roy. Thank you.
Thank
Beautiful,
you
yeah.
very much. I enjoyed that.
Thank you.
Thank
yeah.
you.
You're
Go ahead
welcome.
and stop sharing, Roy.
That was great.
If I can get back to my screen. Bear with me. I somehow got off my Zoom screen.
Happens to all of us.
Well, this is my first time on doing this.
Okay, you did great. Very good.
Okay.
Everybody take a breath. All right.
I closed the screen for him.
Oh, you closed
Thank
it.
you.
All right, Deborah, you're up next.
Okay, hang on. We're technical difficulties here.
I'm thinking that halibut would have been better than this chicken I'm having for dinner.
Well, I
It
bet
probably
you.
would have been.
We do see your screen. We see your dark screen. Oh, we got you.
We see your cats fighting.
Yep.
Okay.
We see a cat.
All right, good. So I'm going to go even further afield. I've had the opportunity this year to really do an extraordinary trip. It was 2.5 months, India, Sri Lanka, and Mongolia. And the pursuit was little cats. There are two types of cats you may or may not know. They're the big cats, which are like the tiger and the lion, and then which are Panthera, and then the rest are Felis, which are the small cats, and in general considered not as sexy, and so most people don't go out after them. But I can tell you it was just an extraordinary experience. I got to see fishing cats and jungle cats, and then specifically went to Mongolia for what used to be called Palace's cats, but the local name is actually Manul, Manul. And they're just these fascinating cats that live on the steppes of Mongolia and extend for a little bit into China and Nepal, that area, and have actually the thickest coat of any cat on the planet. Which, if you see them in winter, I'm not brave enough to do that. The winters there are just so harsh, and they're such small cats that without these coats they wouldn't survive. So it's very hard to get to. You have to go fly into Ulaanbaatar, which is the capital of Mongolia, and then it's a 9.5 hour drive out to nowhere. And literally there's a small area where they're doing some research on the cats, and we stayed in the yurts, which are those circular tent-like structures. The only electricity was with a generator, and there was no running water, and an outhouse, and all those good things. So, and then in deference to Diane, we actually left camp at 4 o'clock in the morning, every morning.
Thank you, Deborah.
To go out and, because what happens is, so these cats den in these rocks. There are no trees out there at all. They're just these rock formations, and some burrows and things like that afford some protection from the predator, animals that would predate on these kittens. And we sat behind blinds, we set up. It was basically this long stretch of cloth. I'm sorry I don't have any of those photos because I only shoot the wildlife, so I don't have any of the setups.
Hey, Deborah, have you moved your slide? Because we've only seen one slide so far.
Oh no, I was just going to give a little. Hang
Okay.
on. Okay,
Just
I'll
wanted
give.
to make
So
sure. Okay.
yes, no, I have not. I have not moved it. I was just
Okay.
going to
Okay.
give a
Just wanted to
little
make sure.
prelude, so you know what you're looking at. So we set up these blinds, and you literally then shoot through these little tiny openings, and you have to sit very still and be very quiet because any movement will scare these kittens and pretty much ruin your day. So these are just. So what I've just put together is a number of photos. And this, I put this one in because it kind of gives you a perspective of like how tiny these kittens are. I mean, they're smaller than house cats, you know, and in the rocks of this den. And here's another one coming out that they do that same little, if any of you own cats, you know, that do that little chittering when they see a bird or something like that. That's what this little kitten's in the process of doing. And like all cats, they're born with blue eyes. So you can see these cats now probably are about 4 weeks old and still have the kittens still have the blue eyes. And then as they get older, they start to turn to this yellowish color. And again, just up on these massive rocks that form the protection in the den. And I thought this one was really cute so that, you know, it's like who's watching whom. I hope that projects the bird and the kitten, and they just stood each other, and the kitten didn't quite know what to do with it and just kind of stared it down. And then of course by the time, and the birds were really quite bold. They knew the kittens couldn't really get them, and so they would just kind of sometimes land within feet of them. It was really fascinating to watch the interactions. And this is Mom. So Mom would spend most of the day out hunting, primarily birds and voles, which are these little rodents, and would then bring it back to the den. So here's Mom bringing in, you know, a bird that she caught. The kittens can't, but she's very adept at doing that. And then this was actually one of the saddest things that I saw. So she brought that bird in and she plopped it down for the kittens, and the kittens played with it for a while, and then scampered back into the den. And the mate actually had followed her and flew down to try and, you know, kind of revive and you know, like, come on, we got to go and whatever. I mean, there are 4 of us in the group and the 2 leaders, and I think all 6 of us were there crying over this scene. So it was very, very poignant for me, really, to see. You know, we don't think of birds being, you know, that attached, but and then there were a lot of Eurasian hoopoes, which is what this bird is, and they would just get pleasure out of annoying the kittens, and particularly the mother, and they would just swoop down like this and see, like, you know, like this sort of playing chicken. And it was just, again, you know, fascinating interactions of these animals. And then when Mom came back, of course, it was like joyous celebration, and the kittens would come running from all directions, and, you know, and cuddle up and all that stuff. And of course, you know, also, you know, to nurse when they're younger, which was very, you know, it's hard to see that. Mom's usually very secretive about it, but I was very fortunate to be able to see that a couple of times.
These
And
are
here she is with a vole, which she's reaching, and I love that, like the look on her face. She looks so annoyed. It's like, take it already, you know. And the kitten actually, I have the whole sequence. The kitten actually just kind of reached out and kind of batted it, and ultimately batted it out of Mom's mouth, and it fell down into this crevice and was like gone. And Mom's like, you know, I just spent an hour getting this for you, and you just knocked it down on the thing. And then this is actually one of the nursing scene. So moms come back, the two kittens on the right. One is already underneath and nursing, the other one's about to, and of course the kitten on the left is coming in for milk time. And again, you can see pretty young, still have the, the blue eyes. And the interesting thing, I mean, it was kind of great and sort of frustrating, is that because we were behind this long sheet of blind, and the rocks and the formations were very complicated. Sometimes someone would be going, like you could see they were firing away because they could have all, and you were just looking at rock. So it there were others that actually got a full-on shot of this, but from the position I was in, this was sort of the best I could get. And then one morning, this is about 4 o'clock in the morning, the sky, so the weather was highly variable. I mean, one day it was 100 degrees, and the next day it was like 40 degrees. And, we were in coats, and then we were like dying from the heat and back and forth. But there had been a pretty good storm the one night. And when we got out there, it was still kind of damp and very cloudy and angry looking. And this was, I think I shot this at like 40,000 ISO, something like that. I'd have to look it up, but I sort of like, it's sort of like this Gone with the Wind sort of scene to me, looking out on this, these clouds and whatever. It was so dramatic. And then as the sun started to come up, it just turned this gorgeous golden color. So this is probably about 5 o'clock in the morning. And it was just extraordinary. I mean, the sky really looked like that. And I was just lucky enough to catch one of the kittens as it jumped from one rock to the other. And then this is later now it's about 6 a.m. And the kittens are really out, and you have enough light to get some photos, although I think I was still shooting at probably 10,000 ISO, because this is using 800 millimeter, and the kittens are constantly, as you can see from the video behind me, moving around very quickly. So you had to have a pretty fast shutter speed all the time to be ready for the action.
Deborah, you handheld an 800?
No, tripod.
Oh.
No, it was on a tripod. But it wasn't a prime, it was the 200 to 800. So
the
Canon, yeah, 200 to 800. So, and then as it gets a little bit warmer and a little bit brighter, the action starts. And I mean, these kittens can just be incredibly rambunctious, chasing each other and pouncing on each other. And then you get sort of shots like that.
That's a great shot.
Which, yeah, I just kind of love that with I mean, midair, like the one tried to catch the other, and then like the other's going like, so, or like this.
It's still a massive lens. I just looked up that lens.
Yeah. And then this is probably one of my favorite ones, because I don't know if you can see it, but the one kitten has its paw on top of the head of the other kitten, and it's sort of like tag you're it, And although I put it in for another camera club competition, and the guy just says, well, I don't know what this is. I don't understand this. And just next. So I don't know. I guess it means a lot to me.
Hey, that was the wrong club.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, maybe. Because, yeah, this is probably my favorite, I think, of all the ones that I've got. So, and then in addition, obviously we concentrated on the cats, but occasionally, there are other interesting animals, and there were actually just some hysterical occurrences. Like so the local people raise cattle. There's virtually no agriculture because it's just so barren. And we'd be sitting there, trying to be super quiet and watching through our thing. And then this group of cattle would just literally walk right through in front of us and right across the den. And, obviously the kittens would all hide. We were like, okay, well, today's spoiled. But sometimes driving back and forth, we got to see other things. So this is a Eurasian eagle owl. Again, there are no trees, so they have to nest on these rocks, which I think is pretty extraordinary to see this huge owl just like almost basically on the ground, nesting. And then this is a steppe eagle, pretty large eagle, about the size of our bald eagle, and obviously one of the significant predators of these kittens. If they're not careful, they can really swoop in there and take a kitten without even thinking about it. Pretty, impressive eagle. And then this is a Corsac fox, just really strange looking animal, about the size of a red fox. But again, they dig burrows into the ground. This little guy was not far from the den, and very kind of slinky, nervous. I mean, I still can't sort of believe that he stopped long enough for me to get this photo. This was actually taken from the vehicle, using basically the vehicle as the blind. They do have a blind set up near one of the dens as well, but the foxes are constantly moving around. And so that, a couple of people went down there. You have to miss a cat session and got some good shots. And a couple other people went and just sat, like in this little hot box all day and didn't get anything. But I mean, the whole thing was really fascinating. The country was kind of amazing. If you're into culture and people and that kind of thing, I mean, they still think Genghis Khan rules the world, and just the whole way of life is really kind of fascinating, and the wildlife is. There's just, I think, sort of nothing like that.
This thing looks like a cross between a coyote and a fox.
Yeah, I know, isn't it? But he's small. He's not, he's like the size of a red fox.
Yeah, he's got a
But
very
and the really
coyote-looking face. Yeah.
Yeah, big heads.
Interesting eyes.
Yeah, big heads for the body. They're very chiseled looking. Yeah, it's a very weird looking fox, and I think that's my last one. Yes.
These are awesome, Deborah.
Also beautiful.
So you slept in a yurt?
Yep, in a yurt.
With no heating, I'm assuming.
No heating, no air conditioning.
Roughing it, really roughing it.
Yeah, occasionally when it was raining, like one day we had really hard rain, and it started coming into the yurt, and I'm there scrambling around, to make sure my equipment didn't get wet. And then
looking at
then
those
you had
pictures,
to walk about 50 yards down to the outhouse.
Oh, geez, at night?
And yeah. And although some people just peed outside their yurts.
Yeah, been known to do that.
So, and then the worst thing, fortunately, someone warned me about it. There are these little beetles. They don't bite or anything, but apparently they like live up in the rafters of the yurts, and then at night they drop down to go hunt or whatever. And so in the middle of the night, you have all these insects dropping down on you. But fortunately, someone told me about it, and I brought a mosquito net. So at least I didn't get them all over me. They dropped on the net, but
I tell you, you are a tough woman. I mean, I've known you for many years. I know the trips you do, and you are something else. These are
But
wonderful.
I really,
Any
it was
questions?
really extraordinary. I mean, if you're into this kind of thing, and the leader, who's Sebastian Connecticut, who only does cat tours, he does all kind. I mean, you name the cat, he does a tour for it. Was probably one of the best tour guides I've ever gone with to anything. I mean, spent a lot of time teaching and being super helpful and just super nice and very ethical, which, as you probably know, in this day and age is becoming a big deal as more and more very well-known photographers are breaking the rules. And I highly recommend him. Just really excellent.
Wow.
Hi, Deborah, it's very good. Would you mind to put the tour
Yeah, same here.
information on
Yeah.
the chat?
Yeah, yeah.
Luann's
Thank
like,
you.
I could do the
So
yurt.
beautiful captures.
Yeah.
Deborah, thank
Yeah.
you so much. That was very, very
That
those
was
pictures are
awesome.
beautiful. Does anybody else have any questions for Deborah?
I have one.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Les.
I noticed that fox had the same color eyes as the owls. Is that something inherent to up there, do you think?
Um, I I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, they both had those like orangey yellow eyes, as you know, as does, I mean, well, the mother cat has really yellow eyes. I'm not sure if it's particular to that or it's just coincidental, or but
Okay,
the
I just
eye
wondered.
color
No.
was very, very similar.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just
But
have
it
a
was-
compliment. I love the composition on some of these. The backlighting on the one you said you shot 40,000 ISO or whatever. The fox, I love the way you positioned it in the picture. I don't know if you shot it that way or you processed it
It
that way.
cropped a little bit,
Yeah,
but
excellent.
thank you very much.
Yeah, these are wonderful. Deborah, can you put the name like Luann?
I'm doing
Working on
that.
it, Diana. Give her a chance.
Oh, come on, you know.
Okay, next up is Lee. Turn on your camera, Lee.
Okay, so I don't know if I know how to do this, but
Click
see.
the share button. Make sure you have your you've got your Lightroom ready on your screen.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, now just hit the share button.
Um,
Should be down at the bottom.
The green.
There you go. We can see it. There's Lori. Woohoo!
okay, there's something in the way. Okay, so we get to see everybody's great photos on here, but we never get to see the secret sauce that makes them look that way. So I thought I would edit a photo. There's some really good, cool tools in Lightroom for doing portraits. So I thought I would edit one. So let's see. Bear with me here. There we go. Okay, so I have a preset that I use just to get myself started. And it opens up the highlights, the shadows, gives a little texture. And then I do a lens correction adjustment. Already it puts the profile for my camera in it. And it just gets me started. And then I do, I set a white point and a black point. And I usually pull the whites back because it's usually a little too much. And then I'm going to crop it. And it gets me in a good place. And then the masks have gotten really good in Lightroom. So as soon as it detects the person, it'll create a whole bunch of masks for it. There we go. So I just click them all. And it creates a whole bunch of masks. So just take one at a time, go through it. And the skin, I usually start with the texture and the clarity, and I do a negative, and it really smooths out the skin.
Tori, are you listening to this, girl?
Me? Yes.
Okay.
So,
I'm making notes and paying attention.
Okay.
yeah, and then I just add some contrast to it. So I add some highlights. I take down the shadows a little bit, add some whites, take down the blacks, and it just kind of gives it a little contrast. And I'll just brighten it up a little too much because that'll be the main focal point. And then the next mask is the arms, and I'll pretty much do the same thing. Take down the texture, takes down the clarity, soften the skin up. And same thing, give it some highlights, take down the shadows, and it's just building up some contrast from the light and the darks.
Did you use a flash for this photo, Lee?
Yeah, there was a softbox. One softbox, a reflector on the right, and then a light pointing to the background so I could get some separation.
A who?
There was a light that was pointed towards the backdrop.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
That gave a separation between Laurie and the backdrop.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep. This one is the eyebrows. And I tend just to kind of darken them up a little bit. Don't really need a whole lot. The lips, I bring up the exposure, saturation, little whites.
And you could also change the color of the lipstick if you want to right there as well.
Yep.
How do you do that?
Just use that hue
The
slider.
hue, yeah, I've never really had a lot of success with this thing. It like moves really slow, but anyway. And then the hair, I do kind of the same thing. I bring up some highlights, and I'm just trying to build the texture in here.
Did you put it on camera adaptive for your profile? Or did you use portrait?
You mean for like a setting in camera?
No.
The profile up at the top.
At the top. Move up to the top, please.
Of the basic.
Of the basic?
Yeah, see where it says profile? No, it's Adobe color.
Adobe color.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I didn't change that. I'm gonna tone this afterwards, so. So that was the hair, and I do the same thing with the clothing. This works really well for eyes too. You can really bring out the eyes, especially has glasses on here, but. And then I don't know if everybody has this, but there's a brush setting for one that's for jewelry.
Huh.
And if you brush onto the glasses, it really brings out anything that's shiny or metallic.
Is that a standard brush?
It's under one of the presets. I don't know if I've downloaded this somewhere or it came with it, but I've had it for years.
That's really cool.
And I tried doing this the other day that I just learned about it with this race tool. You can take out reflections. I tried this the other day and it just crashed my photo, so I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, that particular part of the remove tool needs a lot of RAM power.
Yeah.
I had the same thing happen on my iMac. Once I got this new computer, it doesn't do it anymore. So it does
Yep.
take for whatever reason, it takes a lot of juice.
Yep.
Yeah, I found the reflections thing doesn't work that well on glasses.
I've tried using the erase tool just to erase it, and I've had success with that. I'm not sure this is going to work this time, but we can try it. Yeah, it just eats it up. But it did a pretty good job removing it.
Yeah.
Every time I use it, it wants me to do an update. So anyway, and then from there, I'm just going to tone it using one of the presets. Let's see.
Is that a standard preset or one that you bought?
It's probably one that I've either bought or downloaded from somewhere.
Okay.
I don't remember which one I used, but I'm just going to brighten it up.
And don't forget, guys, you could make a copy of this. You could save your, what you did with your color version and then make a copy of it and do the black and white conversion.
Yep, you can do a bunch of different versions.
Yep.
Huh? Like virtual?
Yeah, you could make virtual copies.
Yep.
Okay. Wow, that's really cool.
And then just to give a little more separation for the background, intersect mask with background. Let's see, did it? Or did it? There we go. You can just put a little more light in the background. Just reduce the texture and clarity to kind of soften it up. And that's it.
Wow.
Any questions, guys?
No, I love that you did this, Lee. I'm
Very
glad it
nice.
was recorded.
Hey, Lee,
Yeah.
did I hear you saying you had issues with the hue slider moving too slow?
Yes.
Uncheck the box under it that says use fine adjustments or fine tuning or whatever it is. There's a look underneath and uncheck the checkbox. That may help you.
Let's see, what was I doing?
Right there in the color panel where you see the hue.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
See that
uncheck
check?
that. Yeah.
Use
Yeah,
fine
uncheck that,
adjustment.
yeah.
Uncheck that, and it won't move so slowly.
You were using it for the lips.
Okay. I couldn't remember what I was using it for.
Now open the mask up. You have to open the mask up.
Eyebrows.
Now you can use it. Now you should. Well, I don't know why it's not highlighted.
Or you can just go back if you just want to see that. You can just go back to the main image and get out of the masks, and
Check it.
Well, since he's got it black and
your
white,
palette.
then it's probably not going to let you.
Yeah, it's
use
not gonna let you do it.
Yeah.
Like
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I was wondering why that thing moves so damn slow. I was like,
yeah, there's a checkbox underneath
Yeah,
it for
I see
use
it.
fine adjustment.
okay. Thank you, Jim.
Any questions, guys?
No, this was wonderful. Thanks a lot, Lee.
Yep. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Lori's quite the model too.
Yep.
Yeah. Very glamorous.
All right. I'm gonna stop sharing here.
Anybody else
Thank
have any
you.
questions for Lee?
Nope.
Thank
Good
you.
one though, Lee.
Thank you.
Yeah, very nice.
Okay, last but not least, Jim.
Okay. Yep, I don't have any demonstrations or lectures or educational items. I just have a video presentation I put together. Who can tell me, who remembers grade school, elementary school, when you first went back to school, there was always one teacher that would make you give a speech or write a report about something. Remember what it was?
What I did for summer.
What you did on your summer
Exactly. So that's my presentation, what I did this summer. And it's no client work. Nope. It's just the fun stuff. Just so you can sit back and watch. So I'm going to share and dig it up.
Deborah, I can't stop watching those kittens. They're
so entertaining.
Did you shoot that video?
I did.
Yeah, you're sitting there with a camera on the tripod. You might as well shoot some video.
Yeah.
Well, and when it gets really dark.
Okay, can you see it?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Oh, there's Frank.
Very nice,
That
Jim.
is beautiful.
All right,
Amazing.
very nice.
Boy, Zoom sure made that look ugly on my end.
There were several shots of me that I barely recognized as me.
Hey,
We
Jim.
recognize the camera on each side of your
Yeah,
belt
that was
there,
a
Ryan.
that was a tip there.
That was the dead giveaway.
Jim, I have a question. How do you put this together? How do you develop your concept? How do you know where do you start?
Well, I say I've just been recording video for everything I've been doing all summer long, and still photos too, and then put the still photos in the video. But when Lynn asked me to do this, I was like, what do I want to do? Well, I just decided, hey, I'll just share the fun stuff I've been doing this summer, and decided to just string everything together.
And you use
Jim,
Premiere
Beautiful,
Pro.
just beautiful.
Use Premiere
Jim,
Pro.
is there a drone, flying drone?
Yeah.
The only drone shots were the lightning.
Oh,
What
Lightning.
about the one in
It's
Death
that really
Valley?
long pole.
Oh, you can, it's not legal to fly a drone in Death Valley. That's a camera on a stick.
Oh,
Camera on a
That's
stick?
me
that's what I
walking
was
through the
wondering.
desert
Why it's
holding,
so high?
that's me walking through the desert
Wow.
holding a pole in my hand with a camera on top of a pole.
What happens
Yeah,
to little
yeah,
people?
all those shots were camera on a stick.
That's why I was surprised. Hey, Jim, I want to do a plug for you. When are you doing your Death Valley, or have you done it
November 10th.
of this year?
Yep.
Okay.
Leaving November 10th for to do that.
All right, I can't do it. Are you going to run it again?
Next year, yeah.
And when are you
Yeah,
doing?
the scenes of Death Valley in this were when I did my scouting trip in June.
That's what I figured,
Yeah,
yeah.
the actual tour is starting on the 10th.
And when are you going to the Everglades in January?
Well, it's always in the spring sometime.
Oh, I thought we did it
Anytime
in
between January and
January.
March. I do that one anytime between January and March.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought it was in January. Okay.
So, Jim, when you're in Death Valley in June, is that super, super hot, right?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
Over 100 some degrees.
The week before I was there, it was cooler in Death Valley than it was in Tampa. The week after I was there, it was cooler in Death Valley than it was in Tampa. The week I was there, it was 127 degrees every day.
How did you survive?
There was a record heat wave hit the week that I was there in June. It was a record for that week in June, but it was in the low 90s the week before. It was in the low 90s the week after, with overnight temps in the 70s. And then when I was there, it was 127. It hit 127 every day. The lowest temperature I saw was 114 degrees was overnight low.
Wow.
wow.
When you were in the sand dome area, it looks like there's nobody. Is that because it's so hot out there? Are you you're only
I don't
one?
know, but also because I hiked out there an hour and a half before sunrise, and hiked way out there.
Yeah.
I was
you were way inside.
I hiked about a mile and a half before sunrise to make sure I would be where there was nobody else's footprints, nobody else in my photos, etc.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Louis,
Super
you
nice.
know how fast Jim walks. You know how fast he walks.
but in the sand dome area, it's not easy. Plus the heat.
Right.
That's the
Heat's
summer.
bad.
Yeah, it was hot. But yeah, I did take pictures of a German tourist frying eggs on the hood of his rental car.
It was hot out on the dunes in January when I was there during the day. It got really cool at night, although as we were coming off the dunes, it was dark, and a sandstorm. It was like coming around the corner of one dune. It felt like somebody had turned on a hairdryer, and they were blowing. It was warmer, and the sand was blowing in our face. It was awful.
Yeah. When we went over to what is that area where you have all those plates, the flat plates? I can't remember the name of it.
Badwater Basin?
Yes. There was not a single cloud in the sky
Well, there
to
usually
get
isn't any cloud there.
a sunset. I mean, to get like, you know, colors. Yours came out beautiful.
You know, we had one day with clouds when I was there in January.
Yeah, we didn't have any.
Hey, Jim, what did you use to do the waterfall? We were looking up at the waterfall with the drops coming down on it.
I was standing under the waterfall, pointing the camera into the water.
Were you using like a GoPro or something?
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it was a GoPro. Yeah.
When you were in the water with the fish, did you just take the camera and set it in there? Where the fish were swimming around?
Some of it was actually moving around underwater with the camera, and some of it was just a stationary camera underwater, letting the fish swim by. Mm-hmm.
Where were the waterfalls, Jim?
North Georgia and South North Carolina, up on the border there.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I also like that shot you did where you were looking at something, you pulled back through the wood and stuff.
Oh yeah, the
cool.
the dead wood at the edge of the that's again, camera on a stick.
Yeah.
I had it poked through the wood on a stick, pulled it back, and then did a crane shot up. So it was already, the camera already started with the pole through the stick, and then just retracted it back, and then
that's pretty cool. I like that
shot. Yeah, I just like doing fun stuff like that. I look for opportunities like that to be creative. Stick the camera in a waterfall, and I don't know if anybody noticed if you were to go back and look again and look closely in the underwater footage in the spring in the desert, which actually I actually did a lot of really cool footage in a bunch of springs out there in the desert. And all of them, including that, if you look and know where to look, there are giant crayfish in those springs. And the footage you saw there is a giant crayfish crawling across the bottom in one part of it. But it's too easy to be distracted by the fish in the foreground to see the giant crayfish in the background.
Sneaking up on them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
but yeah,
Jim,
those springs are full of giant crayfish. They're like little lobsters. They're like this big.
Wow.
Is it mineral springs? Is it warm water or is it cold water?
Oh, it's cold water. Yeah. Those particular springs there were cold. There's a lot of hot springs out there too, but the ones with the fish and the crayfish and everything in them, those are cold water springs.
Wonder how those fish and those crayfish got there. That's
that's a species that I forget the name of it. It's called a California something crayfish. It's a very large crayfish, and it's edible. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So Jim, most of that it was taken by your GoPro?
No, that stuff was probably taken with about 10 different cameras.
Oh,
of course.
Always carrying 10 cameras.
Yeah, that was taken with GoPro cameras and Osmo cameras and Insta360 cameras and mirrorless cameras.
So you were saying when you got on this sand dune, you carried all those gears with you?
Oh, on this, I think I carried 6 cameras on the dunes.
Oh,
yeah, I had 6 cameras with me on the dunes. Yeah.
What do normal people do?
Carried 2 when I was about to die.
Get normal photos.
I mean, yeah,
good one, Vic. Good one.
Walking in that sand just about killed me.
Yeah.
With a backpack. I mean, I only had 2 lenses in my camera.
Yeah, some of the really high, steep dunes.
Oh my God, they're horrible.
Were difficult to traverse, and the gust of winds. I do have a longer video where I have a couple comical scenes in it of me chasing my hat across the dunes, blowing and blowing, and the hat won't stop. It keeps going, and it makes this half a mile long sidewinder trail from the rim of the hat. Looked like a sidewinder snake went through the sand dunes. But yeah, I got out to near the crest of one of the highest dunes, and my hat blew off and blew away down the dune and down in the valley. And I was like, oh, gee, just when I got to the top of this really high dune.
I gather you got a new hat.
Oh no, I kept chasing it down and retrieved it. Yeah,
Hated it.
I chased my hat all over Death Valley on that trip.
ever
Jim, are
think
you
about a
planning on
strap?
doing your video class again?
Yeah.
If anybody's interested, I will be happy to do a video boot camp. I
Yeah.
also have an idea for just a regular photography boot camp that'll be a two-day thing when I do it. And you may think it's basic stuff, and it is basic stuff, but I would bet that 9 out of 10 people probably wouldn't know or don't remember the basic stuff that I'm going to cover in that when I do that. So
I would do that, and also a lighting class. And please do it after football season.
I don't
we
know
are
when
not
football
here for
season
you,
is, so I don't
Diana.
know when.
What?
I don't even know when football season
It
starts
ends
or
like in
ends.
February.
Well,
For
then
us,
there's,
it might end
there's
up-
hockey season.
Yeah, then there's
Yeah, but
hockey season.
that's at night.
Diana, you have to make some decisions.
I have a
What's your
husband.
priority?
My problem
Like I
is,
said, you have to make some decisions.
yeah, but my problem is my husband's been trying to get rid of our football tickets for years. And if I don't go to the game, then he says, that's it. You're not going to the games. We don't need the hockey ticket. We don't need the football ticket.
Again, make decisions.
Anybody
Diana,
else?
you know
Any
you,
questions
you
for
know
Jim?
you love me.
Well, this was awesome. I think 5 was just right. If we'd had Robert, we would have gone until
I think
later.
5 was a good number too.
Yeah.
Lynn.
Yeah.
These were great. Every single one of you guys. Thank you so much. It was such an entertaining evening.
Yes.
Well,
And-
thank
and-
you,
and I would like to
Jim
say
and Lee
to,
and Deborah
Deborah.
and Roy, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I would hope that some other people would maybe think about this doing it. We're kind of hawing of whether or not to do it or not next year. If you guys want us to do it, then we need volunteers.
I'll do one next year.
Yeah.
Hey, Deborah, I just wanted to say I have never heard of those cats before.
No,
You didn't
me
work
neither.
at Big Cat Rescue.
No,
Well,
they're
hey,
great.
Lynn.
The little cats are very underappreciated. They're really
Yeah.
Yeah,
fantastic.
I mean, I watch a lot of nature shows, but I've never seen those. But so that was nice. Thank you.
By the way, Deborah, I saw Mike and Susan Bass, and they said to say hi to you.
Oh, well, say hi back.
All right, I'm going to stop the recording.